When someone intentionally hurts another, it often reveals more about their inner struggles than it does about the person they hurt. Hurtful actions are frequently rooted in personal pain, insecurity, or a lack of emotional maturity. People who lash out at others often carry unresolved issues, and their behavior becomes a reflection of those inner conflicts. It's like a mirror showing us what they feel within themselves rather than what they think about us. And you often saw this behavior in myself rather than what they think about us. Imagine a person who constantly belittles or criticizes others. This behavior is rarely because the target of their words deserves it. Instead, it often stems from the individual's need to feel superior. When people feel inadequate, they may seek to bring others down as a way to elevate themselves. This isn't a true solution to their feelings of insufficiency. It's a temporary distraction from their inner turmoil. By focusing on others' perceived flaws, they avoid confronting their own. The same can be said for jealousy. When someone hurts another out of envy, it's not because the other person has done something wrong, but because they possess something the envious person desires. This might be a talent, an opportunity, or even happiness. Instead of being inspired by the other person or striving to achieve something similar, the envious individual might choose to act maliciously. Again, this behavior reveals more about their own struggles with self-worth and contentment than anything about the person they hurt. Fear is another motivator for intentionally harmful behavior. People who feel threatened by someone else's potential or success may act out to protect their own position or status. This type of action is particularly common in competitive environments where individuals feel they must diminish others to secure their own place. These actions are a projection of their fear of being overshadowed or overlooked. Instead of fostering collaboration or growth, they resort to actions that attempt to hold others back, which ultimately stems from their own insecurities. It's important to recognize that people who hurt others are often carrying pain of their own. Perhaps they've been hurt in the past and are acting out patterns they've learned. Hurt people often hurt people, perpetuating cycles of pain because they haven't healed themselves. While this doesn't excuse their behavior, it provides insight into why they act the way they do. Understanding this can help us respond with empathy rather than anger or resentment. However, recognizing that hurt reflects more on the hurter doesn't mean we should tolerate harmful behavior. It's crucial to set boundaries and protect ourselves from repeated harm. Acknowledging that someone's actions are a reflection of their struggles allows us to step back and avoid internalizing their behavior as a judgment of our worth. It gives us the clarity to see that their hurtful actions are not about us, they're about them. In some cases, understanding the root of someone's behavior can lead to forgiveness. When we realize that their actions stem from their own pain or inadequacies, we can let go of the resentment that keeps us tied to the experience. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning their actions or allowing them to continue hurting us. It means releasing the emotional hold their behavior has on us. Ultimately, the way people treat others is a reflection of their character, not ours. Recognizing this truth can empower us to rise above intentional hurt. Instead of retaliating or letting their actions define us, we can choose to focus on our growth and well-being. By doing so, we take away the power their behavior might have had over us and transform the experience into one of resilience and strength. In this way, we break the cycle of pain and move forward with compassion for ourselves and others. When someone intentionally tries to hurt you, it's easy to question your value. Their actions might make you feel small, inadequate, or unimportant. But the truth is that your worth remains intact regardless of what they say or do. Your value as a person is not dependent on someone else's opinions, actions, or treatment of you. It is an intrinsic quality that cannot be diminished by external circumstances. Well, the first step in understanding this is recognizing that human worth is inherent. From the moment you exist, you carry value, simply because you are unique and irreplaceable. No one else in the world has your exact combination of experiences, talents, personality, and perspective. This individuality is a testament to your importance, and no amount of criticism or negativity from others can change that. Their words or actions do not have the power to define who you are, unless you allow them to. It's important to remember that hurtful behavior often says more about the person inflicting it than it does about you. People who intentionally harm others are often grappling with their own insecurities, frustrations, or unhappiness. They might project their pain onto you as a way to cope with their struggles. When someone insults, belittles, or mistreats you, it is a reflection of their character, not a statement about your worth. Understanding this can help you separate their behavior from your sense of self. Another way to affirm your worth is by focusing on the positive qualities and strengths you bring to the world. Reflect on your achievements, the kindness you've shown, and the relationships you've built. These are all evidence of your value. Even if you've made mistakes or faced failures, something we all experience, those do not reduce your worth. Instead, they offer opportunities for growth and learning. Every setback you overcome adds to your strength and resilience, further proving your intrinsic value. It's also essential to practice self-compassion. When you're hurt by someone's actions, it's natural to feel vulnerable. During these times, be gentle with yourself. Remind yourself that being hurt doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. Give yourself permission to feel the pain, but don't let it consume you. Acknowledge your emotions, but also remind yourself that you are worthy of love, respect, and kindness. Building a strong sense of self-worth also involves surrounding yourself with people who uplift and support you. Seek out those who see your value and remind you of it, especially when you're feeling low. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect and care, and they can reinforce your belief in your worth. At the same time, don't be afraid to distance yourself from toxic individuals who make you doubt your value. Protecting your peace is an act of self-respect. When someone intentionally tries to hurt you, it's easy to internalize their actions and wonder if you somehow deserved it. But nothing you do or don't do justifies being treated poorly. Everyone deserves kindness and respect. And if someone fails to offer that, it's a reflection of their own shortcomings, not yours. You are not responsible for their behavior, nor should you let it dictate how you see yourself. Lastly, your worth is not tied to external validation. Society often measures value by accomplishments, appearances, or material success, but these are superficial markers that don't capture the depth of a person's true value. Your worth comes from being authentically you. It's about how you treat others, the kindness you show, the dreams you pursue, and the way you continue to grow despite life's challenges. These qualities remain untouched by the opinions or actions of others. In life, you will encounter people who try to undermine your confidence or question your value. In those moments, hold firm to the truth. No one can take away your worth. It is unshakable, unchangeable, and wholly yours. By believing in yourself and standing strong in the face of adversity, you honor the incredible person you are and always have been. Life often throws us into situations where we face unkindness, criticism, or outright hostility. While we cannot control how others behave, we have complete control over how we respond. This ability to manage our reactions is a profound strength that allows us to maintain our peace, preserve our dignity, and shape the course of our lives. When someone hurts you, your first instinct might be to react impulsively. Perhaps you want to retaliate, argue, or lash out in defense. These reactions are natural, but they often lead to more harm than good. Responding emotionally without pause can escalate conflict and make you feel worse in the long run. It's important to remember that your reaction can either feed negativity or diffuse it. Choosing to respond thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively is an act of self-respect and empowerment. Controlling your response begins with a pause. In the heat of the moment, emotions can run high. Taking a few deep breaths or stepping away from the situation can give you the space to think clearly. This pause allows you to separate your emotions from your actions, enabling you to respond with intention rather than reacting out of anger or hurt. It's not about suppressing your feelings, but about giving yourself the time to process them in a way that serves your well-being. Another important aspect of controlling your response is understanding the motivations behind the other person's behavior. When someone is intentionally hurtful, it often stems from their own struggles. They may be acting out of insecurity, fear, or pain. Recognizing this doesn't excuse their behavior, but it helps you see that their actions are more about them than they are about you. This perspective can reduce the emotional impact of their words or actions, making it easier to respond calmly. Responding thoughtfully also means setting boundaries. If someone consistently behaves in a way that hurts you, it's okay to stand up for yourself and assert what you will and will not tolerate. This can be done respectfully without hostility. For example, you might say, "I value our relationship, but I find it hurtful when you speak to me in that way. I'd like us to communicate more positively." Setting boundaries is not about controlling the other person's behavior. It's about protecting your peace and creating a healthy environment for yourself. It's also worth considering that not every situation requires a response. Silence can be a powerful tool, especially when dealing with someone who seeks to provoke you. By refusing to engage in negativity, you deny them the reaction they may be seeking. This doesn't mean avoiding conflict altogether, but rather choosing your battles wisely. Not every hurtful comment or action warrants your energy. Sometimes walking away is the best response you can give. Practicing empathy can also help you control your response. When you try to understand the other person's perspective, it can soften your feelings of anger or resentment. Empathy doesn't mean agreeing with their actions, but it does mean acknowledging their humanity. By responding with kindness or patience, you might even inspire them to reflect on their behavior and change it. Lastly, controlling your response involves focusing on what you can control, your own emotions, actions, and mindset. Letting someone else's behavior dictate how you feel gives them power over you. Instead, take ownership of your reactions. Choose to respond in a way that aligns with your values and contributes to your growth. When you control your response, you take charge of your life. You demonstrate emotional intelligence, strengthen your resilience, and maintain your peace. It's not always easy, but it's a skill that grows with practice. Each time you choose to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively, you become a little stronger, a little wiser, and a lot more in control of your happiness. In the end, how you respond to others says more about you than it does about them, and that's a reflection worth nurturing. Setting healthy boundaries is an essential aspect of maintaining emotional well-being and building strong, respectful relationships. Boundaries are the invisible lines that define what behavior is acceptable to us and what is not. They protect our mental and emotional space, ensuring that we feel safe, valued, and respected in our interactions with others. Learning to set boundaries is not just about saying no, it's about valuing yourself enough to prioritize your needs while fostering mutual respect. Healthy boundaries start with self-awareness. To set boundaries, you must first understand what you're comfortable with and what makes you uncomfortable. This requires reflecting on your values, limits, and triggers. Ask yourself, what behaviors make me feel disrespected? What situations cause me to feel overwhelmed or drained? By identifying these factors, you can better communicate your boundaries to others. When your ability to communicate your boundaries to others, clear communication is at the heart of setting boundaries. Once you understand your limits, the next step is expressing them effectively. This involves being honest and direct while remaining respectful. For example, if a friend constantly interrupts your personal time with excessive demands, you might say, "I value our friendship, but I need time to recharge. Let's plan our conversations for a specific time so I can give you my full attention." By expressing your boundaries clearly, you help others understand your needs without creating unnecessary conflict. One common fear people face when setting boundaries is the worry of upsetting others or being seen as selfish. However, setting boundaries is not an act of selfishness. It's an act of self-respect. It's important to remember that you cannot pour from an empty cup. When you constantly put others' needs before your own, you risk burnout and resentment. By taking care of yourself and setting limits, you are better equipped to support and connect with others in a meaningful way. Another crucial aspect of setting boundaries is consistency. Boundaries lose their effectiveness if they are not consistently upheld. For instance, if you tell someone that you can't answer work emails after 6 p.m. but continue to do so, they may disregard your boundary in the future. Consistently enforcing your boundary sends a clear message that you value your time and energy and expect others to do the same. This consistency builds trust and helps prevent misunderstandings. It's also important to recognize that boundaries may need to be adjusted over time. Relationships evolve, and so do our needs. What worked for you in the past may not work now, and that's okay. Be open to reevaluating your boundaries and communicating any changes. Flexibility is key, but it should not come at the cost of your well-being. Adjust your boundaries as needed, but always stay true to your core values. When setting boundaries, it's inevitable that you'll encounter resistance from some people. Not everyone will respect or accept your limits, and that can be challenging. In such cases, it's important to remain firm and assertive. If someone repeatedly disregards your boundaries despite your efforts to communicate them, you may need to reassess the relationship. Surround yourself with people who respect your limits and value your well-being. Healthy boundaries are not only about saying no, but also about creating a balance between giving and receiving. They help you maintain your identity and autonomy while fostering mutual respect in relationships. When you set and enforce boundaries, you teach others how to treat you. You show them that your time, energy, and emotions are valuable and deserving of respect. Lastly, setting boundaries requires patience and practice. It's a skill that may feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to prioritizing others over yourself. But with time, you'll find that boundaries are empowering. They allow you to take control of your life, protect your mental and emotional health, and build relationships that are based on mutual understanding and respect. Remember, boundaries are not barriers. They are bridges to healthier, more fulfilling connections. By setting and honoring your boundaries, you take a powerful step toward living a balanced, authentic life where your needs and well-being are respected. Pain is an inevitable part of life. Whether it comes from failure, heartbreak, betrayal, or loss, we all experience moments that test our resilience. While pain can feel overwhelming, it also holds incredible potential for transformation. When we choose to face our pain and channel it into something meaningful, we turn it into a source of strength, growth, and empowerment. Turning pain into power is not about ignoring or suppressing difficult emotions. It's about using them as fuel to build a better version of ourselves. The first step in transforming pain into power is to acknowledge and accept it. Pretending the pain doesn't exist or trying to bury it only prolongs the healing process. It's important to sit with your emotions, even if they are uncomfortable. Allow yourself to grieve, cry, or feel anger. These feelings are valid and part of the human experience. By acknowledging your pain, you take the first step toward taking control of it rather than letting it control you. Once you've acknowledged your pain, the next step is to reflect on what it's teaching you. Every painful experience carries a lesson, even if it's hard to see in the moment. Perhaps it's teaching you to set boundaries, to value yourself more, or to trust your instincts. Reflection helps you understand the root cause of your pain and what you can do to grow from it. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? How can I use this lesson to make better choices in the future, right? Turning pain into power also involves shifting your perspective. Instead of viewing pain as something purely negative, see it as an opportunity for growth. Pain often pushes us out of our comfort zones and forces us to confront parts of ourselves we might otherwise ignore. It can spark self-discovery and inspire us to take steps toward personal development. For example, the end of a relationship might lead to a journey of self-love and independence. A failure might motivate you to, work harder and achieve even greater success. Another powerful way to transform pain is to channel it into action. Use your experiences as motivation to create change, both in your own life and in the world around you. Many of history's most inspiring figures turned their pain into movements that changed society. Their struggles became the foundation for their strength and determination. On a personal level, pain can motivate you to pursue your goals with renewed vigor, to challenge yourself, or to help others who are going through similar experiences. Creativity is another outlet for turning pain into power. Art, writing, music, and other forms of expression allow you to process and release your emotions in a constructive way. These creative outlets not only help you heal, but also create something meaningful from your struggles. Sharing your story or your creations can inspire and comfort others who are facing their own challenges, turning your pain into a source of hope and connection. Building resilience is a key part of transforming pain. Resilience is not about avoiding pain, but learning how to recover from it and grow stronger. Every time you overcome a difficult experience, you build inner strength and confidence. You learn that pain, no matter how intense, is temporary, and that you have the ability to move forward. This resilience becomes a tool you can rely on in future challenges, helping you navigate life with courage and determination. Finally, turning pain into power means recognizing your worth despite your struggles. Pain can make us feel broken or unworthy, but it's important to remember that our struggles do not define us. What defines us is how we rise after we fall. Choosing to grow, to learn, and to keep moving forward is a testament to your strength and character. It's a reminder that you are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the author of your story. In transforming pain into power, you reclaim your narrative. You take what was meant to break you and use it to build a stronger, wiser, and more compassionate version of yourself. Pain may be a part of life, but it doesn't have to define it. By choosing to harness its energy for growth and change, you can turn even the hardest moments into a source of inspiration and empowerment. Forgiveness and compassion are powerful forces that have the ability to heal wounds, strengthen relationships, and create a more harmonious world. These qualities allow us to rise above pain and resentment, replacing bitterness with understanding and animosity with peace. While forgiveness and compassion may not always come easily, they are essential for personal growth and the well-being of our communities. By promoting these values, we can foster deeper connections and lead more fulfilling lives. Forgiveness begins with a conscious decision to let go of anger and resentment towards someone who has wronged us. It is not about condoning harmful behavior or forgetting the pain caused. Rather, it is about freeing ourselves from the burden of negative emotions. Holding on to grudges can feel justified in the moment, but over time it weighs heavily on our hearts and minds. It traps us in the past, preventing us from fully enjoying the present and moving forward. By choosing to forgive, we release ourselves from this emotional prison and reclaim our inner peace. One of the first steps to forgiveness is empathy. When we try to see a situation from the perspective of the person who hurt us, it becomes easier to understand their motivations or struggles. This doesn't mean excusing their behavior, but recognizing that they too are human and flawed. Often people act out of their own pain, insecurities, or misunderstandings. Compassion allows us to see beyond their actions to the person behind them, making forgiveness more attainable. Compassion extends beyond forgiveness to encompass a broader sense of care and understanding for others. It is the ability to feel and act on empathy, seeking to alleviate suffering and offer support. In a world where people often feel isolated or misunderstood, compassion creates a bridge of connection. It reminds us that we are all part of a shared human experience, bound together by our joys and struggles. Acts of compassion, no matter how small, can have a ripple effect, inspiring others to show kindness and understanding in turn. Promoting forgiveness and compassion in our lives requires practice and intentionality. One way to cultivate these qualities is through self-reflection. When we take time to examine our own mistakes and imperfections, we become more aware of how our actions might have affected others. This awareness fosters humility and reminds us that just as we hope for forgiveness, others deserve it too. Recognizing our shared humanity encourages us to approach others with a spirit of generosity rather than judgment. Another way to promote forgiveness and compassion is through open and honest communication. Misunderstandings and miscommunications often lead to conflict. But many disputes can be resolved when both parties are willing to listen and express their feelings. By approaching conversations with empathy and a genuine desire to understand, we create an environment where forgiveness becomes possible. Even in situations where resolution seems unlikely, expressing our feelings in a constructive way can bring us a sense of closure and peace. Self-compassion is also a crucial aspect of this journey. Often, the hardest person to forgive is ourselves. We may carry guilt, shame, or regret for past actions, believing that we don't deserve forgiveness. However, self-compassion reminds us that we are all imperfect and that mistakes are opportunities to learn and grow. When we treat ourselves with the same kindness and understanding we would offer a friend, we build the emotional strength needed to extend forgiveness and compassion to others. Promoting forgiveness and compassion is not just about resolving conflicts. It's about creating a culture of kindness and empathy. In our daily interactions, we can lead by example, offering a listening ear, showing patience and extending grace, even when it's difficult. These actions, no matter how small, contribute to a more understanding and peaceful world. Ultimately, forgiveness and compassion are gifts we give not only to others but also to ourselves. They free us from the chains of resentment, heal emotional wounds, and open the door to deeper connections. By embracing these qualities, we create a life filled with greater peace, love, and understanding. One where the weight of the past is lifted and the potential for joy and growth becomes limitless.